Did you know that it was possible for you to reach your big, hairy, audacious goals by doing less? Now, listen, I know that that is countercultural, and most of your mentors and peers have told you that you got to do more in order to achieve more. But in today's episode, we're going to challenge that notion and we're going to dig deep and lay out some facts about what are some of the key drivers that are really creating your next level success and how to better use your time, talent, and treasure in order for you to achieve more by actually doing less. Many times we think that we're not reaching our goals because we're not doing enough. And I would say that most times you're not reaching your goals is because you're doing too much in the wrong places and your time is divided. So if you're ready to shift the trajectory of how you've been using your time, your talent, and your resources so that you can really up level your business into this next level of growth, then get ready to take some amazing notes as we dive deep. What's up, leader? Welcome to the Gifted Entrepreneur Show, the dopest podcast on the planet that explores the world of Christian entrepreneurship and reveals secrets to unlocking your unique codes to create generational wealth. I'm your host, LaDondra Hervey, wife, mom, award-winning author, and Christian business coach who's excited to take you on a transformational journey of taking bold steps to unlock your unique gifts and pursue your entrepreneurial dreams with unwavering faith. Buckle up. It's time to make your dreams of creating generational wealth a reality. Hey, what's up, you guys? Happy New Year, Happy New Year, Happy New Year. Man, I pray that your new year is off to an amazing start as you are preparing yourself for the year of open doors. You know, when you think about that principle or you think about that theme, that's not necessarily a principle, but when you think about that theme, the year of open doors, there's so many things that come to my mind is, it's not only about having an awareness of what doors that should be opened for you, but then it's also having an awareness of what doors that you shouldn't be, pursuing. And also, the last thing is having an awareness of the people who should be walking with you through those doors and who shouldn't be walking with you through those doors. And listen, this was something that wasn't planned. And so I pray that you are really taking in some of the things that I'm saying as I share these words are dropping off of my lips, because as leaders, kingdom business builders, some of the things that we want to make sure that we are really grounding ourselves in is being very grounded in wisdom. And being grounded in wisdom, it gives us the insight and the guidance that we need. It's our compass that guides us into the next level to really take advantage of the prophetic words that have been declared. And so you may have a prophetic word that has been declared, like this is the year of open doors, but if you are not grounded in the wisdom of the Holy Spirit and you're not flowing with the Holy Spirit, and around here flow is following the leading of wisdom, then you will find yourself being feeling hype on the prophecy, but then not really having the wisdom to really be positioned well to take advantage of everything that is happening in this time and in this season. And so for any of you who have followed me for any period of time, I believe that begins with creating space to hear Daddy God. And I love to do that in the mornings. I spend daddy daughter time to really get grounded, to hear God, to see, what should I be doing, where should I be, who, with who and for who, and just all the things, and really getting grounded in wisdom. And so I really pray that you guys are positioning yourself to be in position for those open doors, that every open door that God has planned for you to step into. And I pray that you have the courage to do that, because see, most of us think that we supposed to have the confidence to do it. Like, that confidence is like, I should know. But there's nowhere in the Bible that says that you should be confident in you. It says to be confident in the Lord, and to not lean on your own understanding, but to follow Him, and lean on Him in all your ways. And so this is your opportunity to do that. And I mean, as we're, really, as I'm kind of really stepping into this, you guys, I want to just kind of remind you about the purpose and the intention of this podcast. And this podcast is really about unlocking the codes to create generational wealth using your God-given gifts. And as we do that, some of the key components of that is really stepping out of that place of pressure and into that place of purpose, and really identifying, the things that are taking you away from really being who God has created you to be. Because in a world where it's so many things and everybody's fighting for your attention, you have to be so grounded in not only the word, but also grounded in who God has called you to be. There's so many scriptures that talks about this one thing I do. When with the prophets that were really grounded, they always talked about this one thing I do. And this one thing I do, it was based on the assignment that God has given them. And so in this episode today, I'm talking about, I want us to press in on achieving more by doing less. And in a time and in a season where people try to tell us that you have to do more to achieve your goals, I'm challenging that notion with not only with just biblical principles. Some of them I've just laid out, but I'll even go so far as to say, like, the scripture that talks about pruning. God talks about pruning, and He says when you're pruning, you make space, you make room for more to come through. And so you can achieve more by doing less, by every season cutting away the things that are not working, going back and analyzing what worked well, and then doing more of what worked well, instead of just chasing your tail and chasing the trends and chasing things, slowing things down to really focus in to say, what has worked and what is producing the highest results in my business. As I'm laying this out, and y'all, I'm just going in, I'm going deep. So go ahead and just get your notes. I hope you already have your notes out and you're ready, because I'm already in. So just so you know, I came in hot, I came in on fire. And so here we are. There's a principle called the Pareto principle. And the Pareto principle, it's been around for years and years and years. And for those of you who are not familiar with it, just Google it and you will find it. It was created by an Italian economist, Vilfredo Pareto. And he figured this out through some gardening. And he found through his gardening works that 20% of his pea pods generated 80% of the healthy peas. And then he took it a little bit further, and he realized that 20% of the land of Italy was owned by, 80% of the land, 80% of the land of Italy was owned by only 20% of the population. And so essentially what the Pareto principle tells us is that 20% of your input equals 80% of your output, and that can be vice versa. And when we think about output, that can be, or your results, right? And so 20% of what you're doing is creating the 80% of the results that you're experiencing in your business. And so when you really look at that, that says that it's not about all the things that you're doing. It's about doing the right things, putting 20% in doing the right things in the right time, in the right place, and putting your efforts towards that. That's going to create 80% of your results. And so, you guys, we always do an analysis of our business, and I'll sit back and I'll analyze and see, okay, where are we? What's going on? But this year, we really focused on the data, because the data, you don't get to be in your feelings with the data. Data is factual, because see, a lot of times we can get in our feelings and be like, oh, I've been doing all these things and it's not working. And when we're there, we're in our feelings. But when we can slow things down and go look at the numbers and say, you know what, like, what has actually happened in my business numerically? What has happened based on the stats? What has happened based on the people who are coming in? And I'm going to tell you now, when you do that, you're going to get some incredible results. That you'll start to see that 20% of your customers are really the ones who are creating 80% of the revenues that's coming into your business. And so that gives you an opportunity to go back and look and say, okay, who are those 20% that are producing the 80% of results in my client? And really focusing in there and identifying that that is my best client that I need to be focusing in. I hope that you're writing this down, because I talked about in last episode, which is episode 54, on who is your best client, like really identifying the 5 things that I wish my mentors and coaches would have told me. And one of that is like really focusing in on your best client. When you can focus in on your best client, I know that we do all the niche work and all of that, but sometimes you don't have enough data to really understand who is your perfect niche and who is your perfect target audience that you need to be putting 80% of your time towards. That's going to produce the 20%, the results that you need. So the 20% clients that's going to produce the 80% results in your business. And so the thing about that, when you can do that, it helps you to narrow in your marketing message. It helps you to narrow in your where you need to spend your time, and like on what platforms you need to spend your time, and how is the best use of your time spent. Because it's not that you need to put more hours in the day. It's more about spending quality time with the people that you're being called to serve, and putting quality content out, which is all dealing with your time, putting out quality content that's really going to speak to your best customer. And that best customer, which is your 20%, they're going to create the 80% of the results in your business. And so many times we think, okay, let me go launch something else, which we'll go ahead and hit hard into the talent. Let me go ahead and launch something else because I feel like things haven't been working. So surely, since it's not working, it's that I need to start something else new. And that's going to speak to the market, and then they'll start coming. But my question to you, without sounding rude or facetious, how well have that worked out for you? From my experience, it has not worked out well, not only in my own business, but then in helping other clients to grow their business, and really coming in to evaluate things. It's not about really doing more, but it was really about doing more things as far as launching and putting more time and effort out. But it was about doing less with what was already in their hand, and really figuring out what was working really well and doing more of that. What's the 20% thing that has worked well? So what has been the launch? So when you go back and you look, what launches have yielded the highest revenues for you? Y'all, I'm giving you some game. I hope that you're really taking this in. What are the launches that have produced the highest revenues for you? What are they? and or what is the courses or membership that has produced that product that has produced the highest revenue for you, whatever that has been. Then that is where that's the 20% that's generating the 80% revenue. Go and look at it, look at the data, and then once you identify that, do more of that. You want to be strategic about doing more of that, because then at that point, then that's going to determine, okay, this is where I need to put more time at with my team resources, with my own resources, with my content planning, with my messaging. Here's where I need to put my treasure, whether it is in developing it. And it's not even about developing anything at this point. If you've already done something, like if you've already created some assets in your business, it's about not about developing anything, but it's more about optimizing, making things even better. And so then it's not like, okay, so now I need to go out and do more of anything. It's like, how can I optimize what's already in my hand and make that better? Or is there a skill that I need, or do I need to invest in a thought partner who is going to come alongside of me, that's going to help me to achieve more by doing less? And so that is a wise investment. And so you guys, if you're in that place and you're like, okay, I see it. I see that 20%, like where, and I understand that 20, here's where the 20% lies, that's creating 80% of the revenue, but I really don't know how to get there. Then you guys, I want to encourage you to book a complimentary session with me and my team, and we will go through an analysis with you to help you to see like how to bridge that gap so that you can achieve more by doing less and you can have a turnaround year. I truly believe that this is a year of the turnaround for the entrepreneurs who have truly been sowing seed and who have really been digging their feet deep into the work and the assignment that the Lord has placed on their heart. And it's not that you're going to need more information. It's not even going to be that you need more transformation, because I truly believe that many of you have been being transformed over these years, and part of that transformation has come through your hardship that you've gone through and the lessons that you had to learn in putting in the things, being developed in the 80% of things that you may have done wrong, or the 80% of things that you just had to learn, and those things have given you redirection. It's so that you could get positioned for the 20% and understand that, you know what, like I don't have to be doing all these things in the 80% category. If I really just focus in on the 20%, this is where the true transformation will come from. And I truly believe that many of you have come to a grips of understanding within yourself. Here's the 20% that I need to be focusing on within my company, within the use of my gifts, my time, my talent, and my treasure. But I just don't know how to really get out there and create that right growth strategy that's going to take me into the next level. And so if you're there and you're wanting to partner with someone who understands, then we would love to do that with you. And so just all you have to do is go into the show notes, book a complimentary call, and we would love to serve you in that way. But here's the thing that I want to say as I continue on with this is that with the mindset of knowing it's not that you need to work more hours. So here's something that I want to tell you. You don't need to work more hours. Because most people think I need more hours to create more results, but it's how well you spend your time and in the right place. And so you need to really look at, so write this down. You want to figure out what are and identify the important drivers to your success. And so like I said, what are the things that you're doing from a marketing standpoint that is really driving your success. Like I say, it could be that it's a successful launch. There's a certain launch that's been doing great, and maybe you have, just because you kind of put it on the back shelf and like, oh, okay, on to the next, but that's the thing that you may need to be focusing on. Or what is that course or that membership or product that is producing the highest. So really look at the important, like look that what's driving your success. And when you can really look at what's driving your success, then you can start to say, okay, here are the things that I need to be focusing in on. And as you focus in on those things, I want to just kind of challenge you on some things here. This will really help you there. Is like, okay, so as I focus in on maybe the course or the launch strategy, and y'all, I'm throwing some ideas out at you, and because you do want to know what's the traffic driver, but then you also want to know what the deliverable is, and then who's the best customer for that, and really what's been the top revenues, and you know of the top product, and then know that's going to determine where you focus your efforts. And once you understand that, then you will know, okay, like I say, what's the content and how you need to position your content. What are the right collaborations and the partnerships that's going to best serve you in this time and in the season? Because likely you're in different networking groups or different things. I'm gonna just say things. I'm not gonna even call them all out. You're likely in a lot of things that are not producing a result for you. So after you really assess like what's those key drivers to success, then that's also going to inform the relationships that are going to take you to your next level goal. And so one area that I want you to really focus in on is say, okay, what are the relationships that have yielded the highest growth opportunities for me in this time and in this season? And if you don't have those relationships established, then what you get to ask yourself is what will be those relationships that will create the 20% relationships that's going to create the 80% results that I'm needing to produce in my business based on the data that I've identified. And so you get to ask yourself those questions, because likely you've been hanging with the wrong people, and those relationships are keeping you stagnant, and they're keeping you stuck. And so your growth is defined by the quality of your relationships. The second thing is, like I said, you get to really go and identify from a focus standpoint. So now that you know where to put your best efforts at, the 20% of your best efforts, now it defines your relationships. It defines your marketing activities, what platforms are that yields the highest return for you, and then focus in there, go in deep there, analyze the data there. What habits? This is the third thing that is really going to drive your success. I know that daddy-daughter time is a habit that drives my success in multiplication and droves, not addition but multiplication. And so when I don't have that time and I'm not getting up like I need to, I feel that in my bottom line revenues. What is the best use of my time, and where do I need to be spending my time? And so when you can ask yourself those questions, I can guarantee you will start to get narrowed in more of a focus that's going to help you to achieve more by doing less. And it's like you're going to be driving down deep instead of going so wide, and you're going wide and not really producing that result. So again, you guys, I hope that this episode has really shifted some things in your mindset and the way that you are showing up this year. Because if nothing changes, then nothing ever changes. And change begins from the inside out. It begins in the way that you see things. And so if you continue to see things from a standpoint of chaos in your mindset, and you continue to do 80% of what's not working, then you're going to continue to get the same results over and over and over. But if you can really go in and look at what is the 20% that's been creating the result that will create a high yield result, and do more of that, and then start to habit stack and really figure out what are those relationships, what is the marketing, what is the routines you need to put in place, where do you need to focus in your talent, your treasure. Then you will start to see a turnaround in your business. Again, if you're needing help with that, set up a complimentary call with us, and we would love to walk with you to become a growth partner and helping you to enter into that next level. We're not going to talk to you about more skill sets, because many likely most of you have already established the skills that you need to really be the entrepreneur that you're called to be. And now it's time for you to step into creating a growth plan that's really going to get you some momentum and some traction by doing it with the right people who's going to help you to elevate into that next level. And so if that's you and you're ready for that, then we would love to have a conversation to see if it's a fit for us to partner in this time and in this season. You guys, until next episode, I pray that you continue to be blessed by the best, and that you would take a moment to leave us a 5-star rating and leave us a review if this episode has blessed you. Did that episode feel juicy or what? If so, please do me a favor and take 30 seconds to write a review. Your review helps us to spread the mission of creating generational wealth around the world. And if you tag me on IG stories, I'll be sure to reshare the love. And don't forget to join our Kingdom Collaborators Network, where we're coming together to intentionally collaborate to grow our business. Until next time, remember, for with Christ, nothing is impossible.